Hi, everyone. This is Jackie Cooper with the GBA talk show and also with CryptoMom2. I am actually going to be sharing this out on my channels, but this actual talk show is hosted by GBA, which is the Government Blockchain Association. And I wanted to actually welcome everyone who's subscribing and listening to this channel because of the fact that GBA has some phenomenal benefits as a member. We're having a major conference at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. in May. And by going to the gbaglobal.org website, you'll be able to register. And we have people coming from the UN, from different embassies, different walks of life. So definitely it's a place to network, but also to learn. There's going to be a lot of great information. One of the individuals who's on today actually is very influential within the GBA organization and group, and I'm very excited to have him on. I have been meeting people of all walks of life, and my background, for those that don't know, is I'm an attorney. I'm also an educator and an author and a blockchain enthusiast. So also a Bitcoin miner. So I have my hands in a little bit of everything. And that has been very exciting for me as I've been on my own journey of learning. And I know that, my guest today, his story is very unique and I want to do it justice. So I'm going to actually have him share a lot more about his background just because, just like mine, it doesn't follow the straight and narrow. There's been a lot of curves. And as a result, he's been able to help a lot of people. And I'm really excited to have him on today. How are you doing today, Cory?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited for this powwow. I know it'll probably be a series because we both have so much to offer. So I'm happy to streamline this one and talk about something in particular so we can have a solid discussion.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because for those that are listening, a lot of times with individuals like Cory, we have multiple topics that we really want to do a deep dive into. But since our conversations are normally around 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes long, we want to make sure that we don't compress it. So today, I know you're going to share a little bit, since this is our first conversation, you're going to share a little bit about your background, how you got into the blockchain world.
Mhm.
And then you're going to talk about social media and a few other things. So where do you want to start? What's your background?
Well, I'll tell a little bit about myself. So, I grew up in Fort Myers, Florida. Fort Myers was the city that just got hit by probably the one of the worst hurricanes in American history. The Cat 5 landed right on top of my hometown. So they're in recovery mode. So I'm still praying for the people in the city of Fort Myers. I live in Atlanta. I moved here after I came back from Iraq. So my wife and I are both West Point grads, both former Army officers. I served overseas in Operation Iraqi Freedom 1, came back, moved here to Atlanta, and I've been here ever since.
Thank you so
Um,
much for your service, by the way. So we appreciate that.
Yep. So, and in my time in the military, I was a systems engineer. Uh, I served as a battalion intelligence officer. So I really learned to look at systems at the macro level. And I said that to say that's kind of how, my migration through technology was as a IBM consultant for cloud and for cybersecurity. And I noticed the gap that existed even still in that point with blockchain and what was this blockchain and how was it going to affect the world. And I learned about blockchain like everybody else. It was a fad or something you did on the side. I think I bought my first Bitcoin when it was like 200 bucks.
Wow.
I sold it when it was like 250 bucks. So, so I've been on both sides of that experience. But for me, it was more about learning how it works, the inner workings of crypto, which is what blockchain is all about. I met Gerard in 2000 and uh, I think it was 2019, 2020 timeframe. Um, and immediately I latched on to the Government Blockchain Association. I served as a chair for the state of Georgia, kind of revamping or relaunching this Georgia uh, group. It was a meetup. It was an Atlanta meetup before we really split into state chapters. And I've presented to the GBA at large about the state of cryptocurrency. We've talked about. I did a presentation on IOTA, which is uh, a very unique protocol that's not using proof of stake. It's using a Tangle, which is now a part of our blockchain introductions course. He talks about IOTA. So very very proud of my participation in the GBA and look forward to continuing to grow with this organization, continue to add value here in Georgia. So myself, I run a nonprofit. It's called Steam Revolution. We focus on bringing science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics to underserved communities, and primarily, uh, as the draw, if you will, we teach about gaming and blockchain because people are interested in blockchain because it represents money, even though it represents much, much more. There's, you know, 6 or 7 different angles to blockchain. Cryptocurrency is just one of those, and probably is the smallest one, but it is the most recognized because where your treasure is, there will your heart be also kind of deal. So those of us who are in blockchain get stuck talking crypto a lot. Um, but tonight, I really want to focus on, some of the other manifestations of blockchain, and the one that we'll speak on tonight will be Web3 social media.
That's awesome. So where do you want to take us? I know that for those that are listening, first, let me just share that the links will be in the blog below. So that way you can definitely reach out to Cory and explore. The other thing is I always have to do disclaimers. Our talk show is not financial advice. It's not legal advice. It's not investment advice. You need to do your own research. This is purely educational. So, any of the information that you hear being shared on any of these shows, you have to make your own decisions and not necessarily be influenced one way or the other. You have to educate yourself. And that's the whole purpose of the organization as well as the talk show, and why I think that everyone who has such an interesting background, everyone's contributing to everyone else's education. So go ahead and run with it. What do you want us to learn first?
I think as we look at today's day and age, before I share my screen,
Yeah.
when social media first came out, it was the vehicle for free speech. It was the way for everyone to connect all over the country, all over the world with people that you felt likeness with. And we saw how that manifested in everything from, the news articles that we read all the way up to who we vote for, you
Mm.
know. And when political campaigns got a hold of that vehicle, they really took it to an extreme that ended up introducing a lot of censorship. And censorship has become the order of the day for Web 2. It's been Twitter and the whole fiasco that went down with Twitter and Facebook and Zuckerberg and the community policies and all of the shadow banning and things that have become old hat for our Web 2 platforms. So, the evolution of that is the deployment of blockchain and its effect on the future of social media. And I'm going to use a particular platform. This platform is called Hive. Hive is a Web3 social media platform that really was first and foremost created as a mechanism of free speech, as a mechanism of having a vehicle to share in an environment where you can't be shadow banned, where you can't be censored. And this is not about, you know, allowing or perpetuating hate speech or perpetuating anything bad. Think of all the things good and think of all the ways that good things can benefit from the protection of free speech. Because it's not about preventing the very few bad people. It's about limiting people from being able to speak their truth. And as we look at what's happening in Florida with, you know, however you feel about, you know, Governor DeSantis and his approach to education, and the limits on education, I think those are just hot button issues for how are we as a country going to handle free speech at the educational level? How are we going to uh, either perpetuate or limit, you know, what people decide that they want to learn? So,
So
platform.
while you're getting that up, I just want to kind of share, because of my background in law as well as an educator, I feel it is really important for us to teach each generation about responsible speech.
Mhm.
You know, and definitely being able to speak your mind and do it in a way that is it, activism can be respectful, but it can also be extremely effective. And like you said, you know, again, the decentralized platforms are created to give us the ability to speak our thoughts. And there's so much creativity in the blockchain. And that's, I know you're talking about social media, but one of my concerns about the legislation side is that even though consumers do need to be protected, I'm concerned about the restrictions that might happen because of the legislation. And you know, again, that's my area that I'm looking at. You know, I definitely think that there's so many creative ideas and so many different things popping up, but we definitely need to be able to express our thoughts and be able to have open conversations with people.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And because this is a global conversation, you know, there are places, you know, other than America where free speech is even more
restricted.
restricted,
Yeah.
and access to books, access to resources, places to learn, where, you know, that has been uh, uh, freed up. You know, there are libraries inside of Roblox where children have been able to go and get books, get access to books where they don't have access to in their country. And so this is in the mind of that idea. So I think you're gonna have to give me permission,
Um,
make me a host.
no, you should be able to, it says multiple participants can share
Okay.
simultaneously.
Well, let me go ahead and share my screen.
Yep,
So,
there you go.
so we're talking about this platform here is called Hive. So when you say what is Hive, that's what I'm gonna start with, just talking a little bit about what it is. So this is Hive is Web3 social media, and it's popular because A, it's fast, it's scalable, and it's powerful. Um, you know, it is a decentralized platform that's focused on, like I said, free speech, fast transaction capabilities, free accounts. They have a passionate community, and there are lots of dApps, decentralized applications that are attached to this ecosystem.
So how did you find this, or how are you associated with this?
You know, I was taught about it, you know, and once I understood the concept, it was something I became passionate about. Um, and anybody can join it, so it's not like you have to be in this special group. The onboarding process is very simple. It's made to be as simple as joining like a Twitter, or as joining a Facebook, or something of that like. And that's what is a positive about it. Most Web3 onboarding is very difficult. There's a certain level of intelligence that you have to maintain in order to be successful at an onboarding with Web3. Downloading wallets, and whether you need to keep them on cold storage or warm storage, or all those things have been barriers to entry, and this platform has mastered that barrier to allow for rapid onboarding. So everybody that comes into the Hive ecosystem, you purchase your Hive token, and those can be what they call powered up, where it gives you an amount of social power, right? Where you convert your Hive tokens into Hive power, and that power is utilized when you vote. So when you like a comment or like a video, you and the person whose video you're liking both earn Hive, right? And if you decide you want to power it down and convert it back to the original currency, it will power down in 13 equal payments spread out over 13 weeks. So you have that ability to share your Hive power without giving away your Hive. And that's important, so you go in and you vote. You don't have to worry about your vote costing you your tokens. But the power that you have determines how much the person whose video or post that you're liking, how much they get for that, right? So the more.
Let me ask you a question. The posts that you're liking, they're all posted within the Hive structure?
Yes, and we're gonna,
Yeah.
we're gonna see that shortly. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
talk through.
yeah. No, I understand.
Hmm. So say Alex buys 1,000 Hive, and then he converts it, powers it up to 1,000 Hive power. So when Alex presses the heart button or the like button on Sarah's post, his Hive power causes her post to receive a payout of 0.05 Hive. So Sarah earns 0.025, and the author in author rewards, and then Alex earns 0.025 in curation rewards. So you actually both, there's a value for value exchange there. You providing value by reading their post and providing feedback, and then they're getting a reward for that. So you can see where both the curator and the author received some Hive power. So these are some of the dApps that are out there. I'm going to go through some. Peak D is kind of like the Twitter of this platform. Then you have 3Speak, which is more like a YouTube type platform where you can share short form and long form videos, where people can watch your content and give feedback. And then there's all kind of other apps in the ecosystem, from poker to Eats and See, which is like a Instagram type platform. So, all the things that you're familiar with. There's even games in there that you can play that are a part of the platform. So the advantage of doing this is because everything is open source, everything is decentralized. There is no way for your content to be shadow banned, which is a big issue with Web 2, because you don't know you're being banned. You don't know your content's not making it out to everyone. And that's something that, I think Elon has said with the upgrades in Twitter that they are working to reduce that, but that's still a big issue in other platforms, like Facebook or like a Instagram and those other platforms. So
Do we
uh,
know, do we know about how many individuals are on the Hive platform?
you know what? That's a great question. I don't know off the top of my um, head, um, but it's growing. One thing I've noticed is that it's a really global community.
Mhm.
And you're going to see that, as you see the content that's out there. So let me take a look inside Peak D really quickly. So this is one of the apps here. It's called Peak D. And you can see here where people, let me see, explore. Let's look at the most viewed post. All right, so you can see, hey, Splinterlands is one of the gaming platforms there, and here this person has posted this. It's been liked 471 times, and they've earned 47.47 Hive rewards, right, from their post there. And you can see every person that posted or that liked it and how much Hive was rewarded per person per post. So not everybody rewards the same amount. So it does matter, how much influence you have in the platform determines how much value you give away just by liking somebody's post. So all the way from a zero point 0.05, 0.01, all the way up to some people having enough power to give you 13, you know, in one post. So that's significant when it comes to, uh, you know, it's kind of self regulated. People can downvote as well. And if you get downvoted, that would take away from the Hive that you earn from that post. So there's different communities that you can, join. Here's one with focused on music, where people will post, different things about them singing, uh, you know, their opinions on music. This one is not necessarily video. This is more about pictures, like Instagram. Um, but what they really kind of zone in on is the content that you write. So they really want you to write really good. This is a blogging site. So they want you to write really good, thoughtful blogs. And when people like it, it's because they're really grading your content, you know? And if they comment, say you comment on a post and people like your comment, you can still earn Hive from someone liking your comment. So it's, very unique in that regard. Um, so that's the Peak D platform. Um, any questions on that?
No, what I'm seeing, as you're going through the various things, and for those that are on the audio, definitely hop over to the YouTube side so that way you can actually see everything. I know that, there are people that are going to be listening to the Anchor side, and definitely come on over to the YouTube side. The link will also be embedded within. There's so many. I mean, you can definitely get lost in here in terms of just the number of links and places to explore and the apps. Again, there's a lot of for different people's interests. There's a lot of variety. So this has. Do you know like when this was first created? Because it looks like it has been
Well,
around
this
for
used
a
to
while.
be, yeah, it was originally, um, what was the name of the platform? So this was a migration from another platform. And so it's been around for a while. Um, it just, when they went Web3, they forked basically and became this community called Hive. So what's most advantageous about this community is that they're a community of developers. So they're making a lot of dApps that integrate, and the Hive blockchain is you know, the melting pot, if you will, of all of these different dApps. It is the protocol that is securing all of this voting and transferring of value between each other.
And
So,
it's amazing to me. The I'm the ability of one to first create a blockchain and then build on top of it, in terms of just like it's like being at a mall, basically,
mhm,
with all these different stores,
yep.
except it's online. And from in terms of I see plant power vegan, again, there's such a variety of both names and places that people can explore. um yeah, I love the idea of also yeah, I see, I'm looking at what you just showed, Hive smart contracts building on half. Again, for those that don't understand what open source is or don't understand the mechanics of blockchain, do you want to maybe, I mean, we have a lot of people who are very experienced, but we also have people that are new to this. Do you want to explain a little bit more about that terminology and how they're able to create this? Just a quick overview.
When you talk open source, it means that, you can look at the code that someone else has utilized to make their function, and you can use it to duplicate and create your own applications, or a decentralized application that has very similar functionality. So there's nothing hidden here. There's no secret black box where all this stuff is created, and you're just purely a user, as opposed to, you know you're not going to see Facebook's code openly available for us to go in and create our own similar, but in these, you can. So it's really built so that you can express yourself, and actually encourages you to create a dApp, that uses the same blockchain in order to continue to add to the capabilities of the community. So it's not limiting us to any one particular uh, dApp. Like, here's other dApps that have already been made. There's a travel feed. There's Leo Finance, which is a group of people that like to make content about finance and about crypto. You've got STEM geeks, people that like to comment about STEM and STEAM. You've got natural medicine. You've got some NFT platforms where people like to show off their NFTs, and you can buy NFTs with Hive, or you can buy NFTs with other currencies. So there's this online football manager looks like almost like a fantasy football type platform. So there's much more to come, and much more that they will be looking for us to create on this platform. Um, the one that I really want to highlight, Three Speak. Let's look at the Three Speak platform. So this is more of your short and long form video platform where, you
Sort of
know,
similar to the YouTube idea.
very similar to YouTube. So here's a video, 1 hour and 10 minutes long here. This masterclass copyright. You notice that this one is in Spanish, because the international community has really bought into this, because they're not able to monetize YouTube in certain Spanish speaking countries like Colombia, South America. So when they learned about Hive, they really latched
Hola,
onto this.
bienvenidos a la clase. Mi nombre es Elizabeth, o en Jaime conocen como Elizabeth S14.
So I said that to say, this video here, somebody might have, some of these people can make more uh, on Hive than they can in a regular job. Just blogging and releasing their content, whether it's a girl playing a guitar, or somebody just talking about current events in their country. the hurricane, I mean, the earthquake that just recently happened in Turkey. We saw that post where it's earned hundreds of Hive, which can be ultimately converted into what they call HBD, Hive backed dollars, which is the stable coin of the ecosystem. So, you see people that this young lady, she posted this a day ago, and she's made $29.54 worth of Hive, in a
So
day.
let me ask the question from just a logistical perspective.
Mm-hmm.
If someone wanted to participate in Hive, and let's say that they have dollars or another fiat,
Mm-hmm.
do they go on to a traditional crypto type of platform to buy some other coin in order to convert it over to?
Yes.
Because again, for those that are new to the crypto space, it's not like you can actually just walk into a bank, not yet anyway, and say, this, I want to convert this. There's a few steps you need to do. So how, if people don't know the steps,
Uh-huh.
how do they do that?
So there's a exchange called Probit.
Okay.
So the Probit exchange, you can buy Hive on the Probit exchange. There's a couple other exchanges. I think Binance might have Hive, but I know without a doubt I've used Probit where you exchange Bitcoin for Hive, and then you send the Hive to your Hive wallet. Now, what's unique about Hive is that your username is your wallet address. So it's it's not like some weird wallet address that you have to post. You literally, if your username is Cory123, then you put that address, in your Probit, and it sends it directly to your Hive wallet.
So it's sort of like your PayPal or your Venmo. Your
Indeed.
your username is very similar to that. Um,
Exactly.
so and that's something that I know as these platforms are created, part of the challenge in the past was the interchangeability or the roadblocks for how do you get from point A to point B. And if they are making it easier to do the exchanges, then people will, dabble in this and kind of explore and see, do they like it? Do they not like it? That type of thing.
Exactly. So here's a case where this young lady blogs on a regular basis, and look at the earnings she's making from her post.
Mhm.
You know, she did this one 4 days ago. She's made $86.83 worth of Hive. And so, you know, this is a full-time job for this person, especially if they're in another country where that's a significant amount of money in their country, you know.
As long, again, I'll put the disclaimer and the qualification out there, as long as they can convert it back and use it. Because that's always the situation whenever you have a cryptocurrency. You
Yes.
always have to make sure that you're able to access it. Um, so what else would you like to show about the Hive and about social media? What do people need to know? What do people need to be careful about? What other things would you like to share?
Yeah, I think, and it's a good point about what to be careful about. Be careful to uh, do your research. Always read up, on anything that I've said here. There's a lot of feedback here. I just wanted to show people, something that's introducing the age of Web3 social media. Um, and it's here, and it's going to continue to grow. You can see that it's growing globally. It's very well received in Africa and in South America, and here in the US and in Europe. So as you see other platforms similar to a Hive uh, coming, just be interested. Most importantly, curiosity is your greatest attribute in this regard. you know, make sure that you stay curious and that you keep an open mind to the things that are coming, because Web2 social media pays you nothing, and they benefit from your content. They benefit from your participation, and we're sharing our lives. We're sharing our most precious memories in exchange for pretty much nothing. So if there's even the smallest token of appreciation from a monetary point of view, is a shift in that regard. And I think that it's going to continue to shift towards a true shared value model where we're not creating these ultra billionaires and then here we are just kind of clapping for them as they ride their rocket ships to Mars. You know, we can be a part of the value that's created in that regard.
And what I like about the different groups and platforms that are being created, like you said, it helps with spreading the wealth and also promoting good and supporting each other. So, I mean, again, if you're on the talk show side, you're not going to be seeing the video side, but there was a post that we were looking at showing, you know, what was going on in Turkey and
Yes.
asking, you know, for help for the Turkey needs your help. Yeah. And, you know, again, people who are concerned are able to contribute and donate and support. So these are different ways that different communities are able to kind of reach beyond themselves and see the global interconnection that we all have. So yeah, this is definitely, you know, I'm really glad that you shared it with our community so everyone can kind of check it out and look for other platforms that also have a social media orientation, because they're, like you said, this is a growing area because of what the blockchain community sees as a need. And anytime that there's a need, the blockchain community usually tries to figure out how to satisfy that need.
Indeed, and we've created a community to help people on board. So if you're looking to learn more about this platform and many others, we're on the Discord. We're going to drop a link to our Discord, the Future Proof organization that we've created that's helping people to onboard in this regard and learning best practices in relation to this Hive platform. So feel free to connect. I've also dropped a link to the onboard process where you can get your Hive wallet, get your Hive ID, and be able to join and play around. You know, and you never know. It might become a hobby. It might become a replacement for the countless hours that you're either spending on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or all five or four or three. You know, this might be one that you add to your repertoire.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. For those that are listening, I'll definitely put the links in the blog below so that way you can, if you don't have paper and pen while you're listening, you can just come back to this episode. And if you have any questions, Cory's contact will also be there so you can reach out to him. Any last minute thoughts before we sign off, Cory? I know this, like you said, this is the first of many conversations.
yes, blockchain will continue to be a beacon of free speech, and free speech is support is free speech, you know, and how and who you can help, you know, the ability for us to click on a button and help somebody and that's experiencing, you know, the earthquake in Turkey is a very unique opportunity, and it's very transparent, so we can, you know, participate transparently and openly in a very decentralized manner, as opposed to, you know, some people don't trust these organizations that have put out, you know, that take advantage of moments like this to raise billions of dollars that we can't really prove actually go to anyone. So it's good to have that traceability. It's good to have that transparency. And again, the Government Blockchain Association is an organization that's here to educate and to reward curiosity about blockchain. And so that's why we're here tonight, you know, extending yet another hand in that regard. So I thank you for hosting me. Looking forward to doing more things. Like you said, you're a lawyer and a teacher, so you can appreciate, you know, the content that we've shown here tonight and how it could affect, you know, people's ability to learn more about blockchain.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate, you know, what you're doing. And again, like you said, curiosity is really important, and continuing to ask the questions so that way you can educate yourself. So everyone, again, we're having a major event in May at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. So you can go to the gbaglobal.org website to register. Or if you know, have any other questions, you can reach out to me as well. And for those that are listening, definitely thank you. Definitely like and subscribe so you know when the next drop will be happening. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. We're all so interconnected. We're all part of one world. And Cory, thank you so much for being on. I look forward to our next chat. Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
thank you.